commercialized in the context of the marketplace.
So Steve Jobs is on the Entrepreneur's Walk of Fame because he embodies the reinvention of the entrepreneur. Many entrepreneurs will succeed and then fail, and then succeed and fail again, and then succeed. Henry Ford, in fact, failed twice in business before he built Ford Motor Company. And if you look at Steve Jobs, he famously built Apple, was thrown out of Apple, disappeared into the desert, and then came back to great acclaim. And I would say that what we're seeing now with Apple is one of the greatest business stories in the last 100 years in Europe.
Bob Swanson created the first factory for large molecule drugs. And it began with simple things like human insulin and growth factor, but now the creation of drugs in a factory-like way has changed the world. And it's done so by solving therapeutic problems we never thought we could solve. So diseases that inevitably killed people 30 years ago, various forms of breast cancer, can now easily be treated. And that was Bob Swanson's legacy.
Hewlett Packard, to a lot of us, seems like one word, and they were a pair, and we had a hard time trying to figure out how to separate the contributions. And so one of the rules we actually made for ourselves on the fly was when there was a team, we were going to think of them as a unit. And I like that because I spent a lot of time in my own work thinking about teams and how do you get people to sacrifice the I for the we, and how do you get people to pull together or get all the oars in the boat going in the same direction. And they seem like a tremendous example of that collaboration.
Mitch Kapor was absolutely transformative for Kendall Square and our generation. I mean, before that, you had business people represented by IBM, where I actually worked at the time. It was white shirts, blue suits, 42 long, and red ties. And Mitch Kapor was came along, and here was a super cool guy who was a transcendental meditation teacher, a disc jockey. He's just a forward-thinking guy who wasn't wearing a 42 long suit and a white shirt. And he created a fantastic product and built a tremendous company. It wasn't about pure capitalism. It was about, hey, we're going to change the world.
Bill Gates is remarkable in that after having created Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Microsoft Windows, some of the icons that we've all grown up with that shape our work lives, he took what he earned from all of that and turned around and founded the Gates Foundation, where he's trying to take the same skills he has as an entrepreneur in business and apply those to some of the toughest problems facing humanity. So he is a real inspiration to us, both because of how, in such a hands-on way, he built the company he built, shaping every feature of every product, to his giving us an example about how an entrepreneur who's been that successful can then apply those skills to making our societies better.
They created new industries where no one had gone before. They changed the culture of entrepreneurship, and that's really what this is all about. We want men and women who take the risk, that work very hard, and that put themselves on the line, and they excel in that moment that they need to. They seize the moment, and they leave a trail behind them that so many other people can follow. And that's what this is all about. That's what the Entrepreneur Walk of Fame is all about.
Short-term flip. Finally, if society is set up so that your ideas, skills, and business style result in a lot of money, feel obligated to include using
Kendall Square used to be kind of a dangerous place to come at night. When you were down here at Kendall Square, there used to be the F&T Diner over there. But you didn't want to be down here at night. F&T Diner. Yeah, give it out for the F&T Diner. But all that was about to change.
Not yet the world's richest person. I was talking to him after he gave a speech right here in Kendall Square. He and his partner Steve Ballmer were looking for a place to eat, and I suggested an Indian restaurant down the road in Central, with concrete barriers to find my old beat-up car. I left them off alone in front of the restaurant. No limos, no entourage, and no let others do it for me. No different than you or me. I also remember discussions years ago about money. He never talked about it as a goal for his own sake. So to sum up, what should you think when you see Bill's star on this walk? Think big and include opportunity for the success of others in your vision. Success. You might think that Bill is some stuck-up egomaniac, but he isn't. In business and work, he's blunt and aggressive. To his friends,
first-hand experience. So our last speaker, our last honoree, is going to speak for himself. When my generation grew up in the 70s and 80s, the world was a pretty bimodal place. That means there were business people over here, and they wore suits.
Maybe I should take off my jacket. No Aloha shirt today, but you can't see my peace socks. Well, thank you all so much. This is an unbelievably tremendous honor for me to be in this group. I really think of it as honoring the company that I created, honoring Lotus. And I want to start by recognizing the many Lotus employees who have come out today. If you wouldn't mind, put your hands up, hold up your boxes of Lotus 1, 2, 3. Please give them a hand. We're really celebrating. I think it's very important to understand about successful startups. A couple of the other speakers have mentioned this. We all stand on the shoulders of giants. Nobody invents things from scratch. Not even Steve Jobs, who is the greatest. And in the case of Lotus and Lotus 1, 2, 3, it was Dan Bricklin and Bob Frankston.
And the results, as we've shown, are better than people who don't have that. So thank you, Mitch. And thank you, Frida, for what you've done. Really, the legacy of Lotus is not just the software. It's not just the revenue. It's not just the renovation.
Well, that's a good idea.
Shadows are a problem.
Yeah, that's great. That's a wonderful idea.
Oh, I mean, it really was the guy.
David. We'd like to have David Edison Sloan unveil.
I just want to also recognize the senior statesman of the council, Honorees, who's there.
Your grandchildren, your friends here, and you will enjoy not only the stars, but the stories. And if you see here, we're going to have signs like this, which have QR codes, a bench that you'll see when you walk by. And all of these great people are so different in so many ways. But I'd steer you to the bench when you get a chance to look at it. It's from an American poet and writer, Muriel Strode. And she wrote, "Do not follow where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail." All of these iconic figures, that's exactly what they did. They left a trail behind them, a legacy that lives on. We must not let that die. We must not let the stories die. We must not let the
who had the biggest impact on the economy, people whose businesses actually had an innovative component, people who actually ran those businesses. We challenged ourselves to look only for entrepreneurs who created at least $1 billion of value.
In building the Entrepreneurs Walk of Fame, we're hoping that it inspires the next generation of entrepreneurs. That the best and the brightest will not go to MIT or Harvard and then go to work on Wall Street, but rather that they will